Social media's been on fire with speculation, and the moment that set it off? When Diddy collapsed in the courtroom, right after 50 Cent took the stand. What really brought down the music mogul? Was it overwhelming pressure, or something far darker finally catching up to him? As 50's name rang through the courtroom, everything shifted. The tension turned suffocating. Diddy, once a giant in the industry, looked shaken. His former ally turned rival now stood before him, possibly holding the one thing that could bring it all down: the truth. Over 20 years of silence, secrets, power moves, betrayals, and now it all seemed to boil over. Whispers raced through the courtroom as the cameras clicked. Diddy, once commanding every room, now lay still, seemingly brought down by something heavier than anything physical. What did 50 say? What truth came out? Was this the moment everything unraveled? As 50 stepped forward to testify, the weight of the moment became undeniable. The judge leaned forward. Diddy whispered frantically to his lawyers. His steady demeanor from earlier had vanished. 50 took his seat, his voice calm but heavy. "I'm here to tell the truth." With a nod, the judge signaled him to continue. What followed was not entertainment gossip. This was calculated, deliberate evidence, gathered for more than 10 years, held back until the moment was right. Diddy's lawyer immediately objected, claiming 50 Cent hadn't been listed as a witness. But the prosecutor countered that newly surfaced evidence demanded his inclusion. Following a brief sidebar, the judge made it official. Objection overruled. Mr. Curtis Jackson, please proceed. Suddenly, you could hear the buzz of the air conditioning. That's how quiet the courtroom became. Reporters froze. Jurors gripped their pens. Diddy's family exchanged uneasy glances. 50 leaned toward the mic. What I'm about to share isn't based on rumors or hearsay. I have evidence. Recordings from 2003 that I've kept for over a decade. A soft wave of gasps rippled through the courtroom. Diddy's legal team looked ready to interrupt again, but Diddy raised a hand to silence them. He knew what was coming. The prosecution placed hard drives and a laptop in front of the judge. "Your Honor, we've had these recordings verified by 3 independent audio experts. They are authentic, unedited, and directly support the testimony of multiple victims." The judge gave the green light. And just like that, the room turned into a battleground of truths. "I've held this in for too long," 50 began. "I've built my career, produced television, and created companies. But none of that changed what I experienced or who I knew was behind it." Then he looked directly at Diddy. "It was you." He went back to how it all started. A party in the Hamptons. At the time, 50 was still early in his career. An invite from Diddy was huge. But when he arrived at the mansion, something didn't feel right. Phones were confiscated. Security watched every move. And strange cameras, disguised as decorations, lined the rooms. They said it was for protection, 50 said, but it felt like surveillance. He recalled Diddy approaching him at that party, whispering, "I decide who succeeds and who fails in this industry. Everyone here knows that." That moment changed everything. From then on, 50 began secretly recording every interaction. "I started with a tiny recorder in my jacket," he said. "Later, I upgraded. I didn't know exactly what I was gathering, just that I needed to have it in case something ever happened." The judge asked, "Did you have the consent of the people recorded?" "In New York, only one party has to consent," 50 replied. "And I consented. These weren't private. They were public events." Diddy's lawyer challenged the legality again, but the judge ruled in favor of the prosecution. Recordings that support the criminal allegations will be allowed. Then came the audio. It began with Diddy's voice. "No one leaves until I say so. No one refuses me. Do you understand?" Then, a terrified female voice. "Please, I just want to go home." Diddy replied, "You'll leave when I'm done. That's how this works." 50 clarified, "That happened after the 2003 MTV Awards. I was in the room next door." Next came a 2007 recording. Diddy's voice again. "I own everyone here. I made you, and I can destroy you just as easily. Don't test me." According to 50, this was from a studio session. Artists under Bad Boy Records were present. Diddy lost it when someone challenged his direction, not just threatening careers, but safety. Then came a clip from 2012. Diddy. "Collect all the phones, set everything up as usual, double the amount from last time, make sure everyone signs confidentiality agreements before entering." When someone asked about special guests, Diddy said, "They don't have a choice. If they want to keep working here, They follow orders. The tension in the room grew. Diddy remained seated, his forehead damp with sweat. His lawyer kept objecting, but the judge allowed the tapes to keep playing. Then came one from 2016, right before the Cassie incident. Diddy: "She's getting too free. Thinking she can make decisions without me. I need to remind her who's in charge." Another voice: "What are you going to do?" Diddy: "Whatever it takes. I have enough to keep her in line. She knows what happens to anyone who defies me." 50 said this took place during a private dinner. Cassie wasn't there. "I knew something wasn't right," he explained, "so I hid the recorder in my watch." When asked if he tried to help her, 50 said, "I reached out through friends." But Diddy had her completely isolated. Recording after recording painted a terrifying picture: threats, manipulation, fear. In one audio clip, Diddy said, "Money isn't enough. Fame isn't either. The key is holding something over everyone. That's real power." 50 said this was his mindset. He didn't just want success. He wanted to control people through fear. He described how gifts and favors would turn into leverage, a lavish vacation, a new car, then suddenly he'd remind you of someone who crossed him and disappeared. It wasn't just fear, it was psychological warfare. Some clips included conversations about paying witnesses, covering tracks, and aligning stories. The jury took notes furiously. Diddy stared ahead, his face unreadable, but for the first time, he didn't look powerful. Then came 2009. 50 said he followed Diddy into a private room at an event. There, he saw young girls, eyes dull, visibly uncomfortable. It didn't feel like a party. It felt like a setup. Later, he got a phone call. "I know what you saw. Stay quiet if you want to succeed." Then came a USB in the mail. Footage of that night. 50 was seen quietly standing in the corner. From behind the camera, Diddy's voice: "Now I have something to keep everyone here in line." That's when 50 realized he wasn't just invited, he was baited. From then on, he recorded everything, not just for protection, but for those with no power to speak. Between 2010 and 2020, his archive grew, each file another piece of a puzzle. In one 2014 recording, Diddy said, "Money runs out, fame fades. Real power is when people are scared to cross you." The prosecution asked about others affected. 50 named artists who'd been pressured into silence. Rumors would spread. Careers vanished overnight. Nobody dared speak. The prosecutor played a 2019 tape where Diddy said, he thinks he's untouchable now, but no one is invincible. 50 said Diddy began targeting softer targets, but never forgot that he, 50, had stood up. "When Cassie's video leaked, I knew I couldn't stay quiet," he said. "That could have been anyone, even me." He admitted he wrestled with guilt. "I told myself it wasn't my fight. But when I saw them trying to cover it up again, I called the FBI." The prosecutor asked, "Why now?" "I'm not just a bystander anymore," 50 said. "My silence made me complicit. I'm here to change that." He turned to Diddy. "You called it family style, but it was a prison." Then 50 reached into his pocket and pulled out a mini cassette recorder. "This was my first device, from 2003. It reminds me that unchecked power causes damage." Looking at the jury. This isn't just about one man or one party. It's about a system that covers for people like him. Then, one last look at Diddy. "You said no one could stop you, but the truth can." As he stepped down, Diddy stood suddenly, then collapsed again. The courtroom panicked. Security rushed over, medical staff were called. Diddy was stretchered out, his body limp. Outside, a massive crowd had formed. Word had already spread. As 50 stepped into a waiting car, someone shouted, "Do you think justice will be served?" He turned and said calmly, "That's not up to me. The jury will decide." He didn't smile, didn't celebrate, just left. Shoulders heavy, face drained. A man who had finally unloaded a decade of buried truth. Inside, some jurors wiped away tears. Reporters scrambled to rewrite their headlines. Even the judge looked shaken. Afterward, Diddy's legal team claimed health issues and requested a mistrial. The judge refused. The trial will resume next week with or without the defendant present. Medical reports cited severe stress, hypertension, and irregular heartbeat. Outside, the music world reeled. Labels hit pause. PR teams warned clients to avoid comment. Old footage resurfaced, seen now in a chilling new light. 50 Cent faced backlash and praise. Some applauded him for stepping up. Others questioned why he waited so long. He responded, I needed enough proof to not be dismissed. Legal experts agreed. One said, "This shows a system, not a single mistake." And that's the reality. This isn't just about two men. It's about an entire structure that lets power go unchecked until someone finally breaks the silence. Thanks for watching. If this story hit you hard, drop a like and let us know your thoughts in the comments. And remember, subscribe so you never miss what really matters.